Hi, it's Laura, and I am here to finally do another What Sold on Whatnot video. I know it's been 822 years. I'll tell you why, and a little bit of story time while I do some shipping. So, number one, if you have not ever watched one of my videos before, my name is Laura. I am a seller of women's vintage clothing. I sell on eBay, Etsy, Whatnot, Depop, and today's video is a What Sold on Whatnot video. So Whatnot is an auction-based website. It's like live auction, so it's kind of like watching a YouTube video, but bidding while you watch. And I do a Whatnot show every Thursday, and I usually do one of these videos while I package up all my stuff. I don't do other What Sold videos because my inventory, I store all of my inventory in like bags like this in totes. So when I have like an Etsy sale or something, I'm just pulling it, and so I don't want to like unfold it and show it. It's a lot. So this is a really easy way to show you some stuff that sold. My Whatnot sales are always really low dollar items. Not that, I'm sorry, that's not true. They're low dollar sales. The items themselves are not necessarily low dollar items. It's just the way the platform works. So today's show was trash. Okay, it wasn't trash. It was just way slower than it normally is. I haven't done, well, I didn't do a What Sold video last week because last week's auction was also incredibly slow for me. And what happened to my brain? Last week's show was incredibly slow. Oh, and I was doing a specialty show on Saturday, and I was just like under a lot of stress to like get all of that put together as well. So I just didn't, it's just been chaotic around here. So last week's show, I did $168 before fees. And that's also, not counting my, that's not deducting my cost of goods. So not great. Like my Whatnot shows, I've been pretty accustomed to them being definitely over 200. I've had them up to like 350 and 400 recently. Last week was, 168. I sold 13 items. So after everything was paid out, I made $145, and that again is before my cost of goods. This week's show is also very not good. It's $160 before fees, 14 items sold. So that means I'm averaging less than $10 per item. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? I'm hoping it's just like a little slump. The specialty show that I did on Saturday, August 5th, I did a raid train show. So what that is a bunch of sellers on the platform, the Whatnot auction platform, get together, and we all just do shows one after the other. Again, these are live shows. So the first seller goes on, they do an hour-long show, and then when they are done with their show, anybody who is in their audience at that time, the seller can raid the next seller, right? So as I do a show, let's say I have 30 people watching, I can send all 30 of those people into the next seller's show, and they call that a raid. So raid train is just, we are all doing this serially. There were 12 sellers for each day, and there were a lot of parameters around the sale. They wanted, the people who were running the sale were very on top of things, very together, but also had like some specific requirements. So you couldn't be showing anything that you had shown previously in Whatnot sales. It was supposed to be more of an exclusive event. Initially, they were talking about it as though the goal was to sort of cultivate a higher paying buyer, which would be great. As you will see, most of my Whatnot sales are pretty low dollar starts and therefore low dollar sales. So we're trying to get people to kind of pay more per item, right? Which is a great goal, but I feel like that wasn't really how things went. I also feel like I took that a little further than maybe was good for me for Whatnot. But so it was 30 items, and I always try to do 30 new items in each weekly show. So that meant that within 1 week I was curating and prepping 60 items is just a lot for me. And I was trying to be size inclusive. Like, I definitely have 60 things in my house, but because of the attic haul, if you haven't watched those videos, they're good. But because of the haul stuff I have in the attic, I have tons of clothes, but they're all sized like extra small. So, you know, it doesn't really work well. Whatnot shows are typically pretty small audiences. When I have a lot of people in the room, I have like 20 to 30 people in at once. Today's show, I was averaging probably about 10 people in my room at any given time. So it wasn't fantastic. I did buy this shirt during the rave train from Bettyjovintage on Whatnot. It's adorable, a little 70s polyester business. I did have a $10 credit, so it made it a lot easier for me to spend money. And I won her giveaway, so it was like bonus, just a cute little like candy dot kind of purse. It was adorable, and she sent a couple other goodies along with it, so that was fun. I think this was $18, but I had a $10 credit, so I spent $8 plus whatever the shipping was. And getting the purse as the giveaway win definitely made me feel like it was worthwhile for me. I am a cheap ass hoe. I don't like to, I mean, and I don't like to spend money on vintage clothing, but also usually because I don't have to. I have such an abundance of it, you know, at very good pricing. So, anyway, this morning's show, awful. I'm trying to I have all these ways in which it was my fault that this morning's show was awful, and I don't know if that's true. Last week's show, I was also 20 minutes late to start my show. I did update the show at like 10:15 and put a little note in there like FYI running late. I was slamming things in last minute. I always put in photographs and measurements on Whatnot. A lot of sellers don't. They just kind of start talking and just blindly grab things and describe them and measure them on screen. I can't do that. My brain can't do it. So I preload everything. And so I was running around trying to get that done last minute. And again, for today's show, I had most of the measurements added in, but I didn't have photos done. So I was slamming those in first thing this morning. So I don't know if the shows didn't go well because I was not as prepared as I normally am. But again, oftentimes sellers do zero preparation for these sales, or at least zero preparation that the buyer can witness, you know? So I don't know, maybe it's just a slow week. Maybe the universe hates me. Maybe I'm being punished for something. Who knows? I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and wrap these packages up. And, you know, what is nice for me is that out of my sales today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I had 7 packages going out. And 4 of those are going to people who have never purchased from me before, so that's good. I have always, not always, my last multiple shows, I've had a lot of new buyers to me. It used to be that my buyers were pretty much people who were like regulars for me. I do still have some regulars, and I do feel like my regulars change. So somebody will buy from me multiple shows in a row, and then they'll kind of fall off. I think that's normal on Whatnot. You kind of get sucked in for a little bit. But let's go ahead and just start wrapping some stuff up and see what we've got here. So I don't know that I will be able to tell you, oh, you know what? Let me do this. Hold on. Let me see if, okay, that's good. Try this. All right. So I won't be able to tell you what I paid for items because I don't necessarily remember, but I can give you kind of an idea. So the first thing that I'm shipping off is this pretty little chiffon peignoir. This is going to a regular buyer. She is also a seller on Whatnot. I'm not going to disclose anybody's information. This sold for $15, and I don't remember what I paid for it. Probably under $5. $15 price point can mean one of two things. Number one, I think it's worth a higher price point, which I think that this is. Number two, I paid more money for an item. So I generally spend like $7 and under for my pieces. Obviously there's like the rare occasion where I spend more money on stuff. But when I list on Whatnot, I'm not going to spend $10 on something and list it for 10. You know, I'm not going to put myself at a loss. And I just make sure that I, at the very least, make my money back. But obviously, you know, I make sure that I'm like making something. I am doing photos in advance, but I'm throwing them up on a mannequin, doing 1 or 2 photos most of the time, and then writing the descriptions. So to be fair, the amount of work that I do between sourcing, shipping, and prepping is probably still worth well more than like the $5 I'm making on some items. But also, today's show is not going to be a good illustrator of this, but you know, oftentimes maybe I paid $7 for this and sold it for 15, but having those kinds of prices are also reasons why people will return to my shows and will sometimes pay higher prices for things or sometimes bid things up a little bit. I have never had like a major bidding war. I've had things start at 15 and go to like 30, you know, and sometimes I can put stuff up, like in fact I have another item here that is our next item. No, it's not our next item. I have something I think in today's show, I don't know. Sometimes I'll have stuff that sells for like $25 because that's what I started at, and maybe I paid $5, you know, but it's really exceptional, things like that, right? So, you know, Whatnot is definitely a numbers game for me. It is quantity, for sure. Let's see. So this next person purchased 2 items from me for a total of $25. So one of these was 10 and one was 15. I'm not positive which. I don't know that you care. We're gonna say that this one was the $15 one because I like it better, so that seems like it's probably true. Really pretty, no tags in this, but the dagger collar speaks to a 70s era type of situation. Really beautiful. I love this so much. And one of the things that was interesting with today's show is I did have a few pre-bids. So you can go in and, you know, preload everything into your show, have it ready and waiting so that when buyers can see everything and whatever. And people can submit a bid in advance. Unfortunately, I don't think it's like eBay where, you know, if they have a start bid at $10 and I'm willing to bid up to $50, you can't put it in your maximum bid, right? You can bid on it, and when the item starts running, Whatnot will send you a notification. So if you're not already in the show and on the app, it will send you a notification that that item started running. But auctions are usually pretty short, and Whatnot sends a lot of notifications. So I don't know that that works for me. I have not looked into it in a while, but if somebody has like a $10 start and you put $50 as your bid, it's just going to jump to $50 as your bid, and not like let it work its way up there. You know, I'm assuming that at some point they will have that technology, but it doesn't seem as though they do at the moment. So, you know, you kind of want to, you know, it's fine if you want to like place a pre-bid and maybe you're the only person who bids and then you win it if you're not there, and that's great. And I think that probably happened today. I had a couple of items with pre-bids. Whatnot does not tell you that you have, I mean, it tells you if you go to the item and look at it, it says that there's a pre-bid, but when you start your show, it doesn't say, hey, these items have pre-bids, maybe pay attention to them, you know? It's really weird. Like, you would think that they would implement that. I'm sure they will. They're always making changes. But, you know, I just happened to run through every single one of my items, but I had it happen last week, and maybe this week, I don't know. But last week where I had already run through an item, and then someone came into my show and put a pre-bid on something, and like they didn't ask me to run it or anything, they just put the bid in. And then later on ended up saying, hey, can you run this? Or, you know, so I did, but like I would never have seen that bid if they hadn't specifically said something. It would have ended the show and there would have been, you know, no action on it. It was very weird. All right, this next person is a new customer for me, and they purchased 3 items. This shirt, which they purchased for $10. It's awesome. Let's see. These pants, which they purchased for $12. So these, I know there was one thing that got multiple bids today. I think it might have been this. I did start a couple things at $12, so I don't know. I know there was something I started at 10 that had at least 1 or 2 bids. So I don't know if I started these at 12 or if they got bid up. And then, let's see, this skirt, which went for $10. It's like a 90s hippie kind of skirt. It's really cute. So my dumb ass, this shirt, adorable, but it was missing a button there, and the cuffs have 2 buttons each. It was missing 1 button on each cuff. So I was like, no, before I send this out, like, it's missing these buttons, but I will replace them before I send it out. You know, and I do that sometimes because I'm so anxious to make sure that I have enough new items in my show that I will, like, if I'm listing them into the show and I find a flaw and it's something that I know that I can fix pretty easily, I'll just run it anyway, and then I'll tell the buyer, hey, this seam is popped open, but I'll sew it up before I send it off, right? So that's what I did today, which, you know, it's fine, but then I have to do that. So it's annoying. I was able to find buttons that mostly matched. I did warn in advance that I probably did not have perfectly matched buttons, but that I would be able to do a decent job. I think I did a pretty good job. And so I had to do that, though, is find the buttons and sew them on before sending this out. So that's what I did. I feel like I should fold these pants differently, but I'm not going to. Yes, I am. I hate when I do that. They have a crease down the front, so I have to fold them with the crease. It's very, I don't like when I'm like this. I feel like they've got some fuzz on them. The other thing is making sure that I've got everything neatly. I try to, you know, put them in the packages so that they look pretty, so that when someone receives them, they look all nice and fancy, well presented. But let's see. Also, though, even when they're not folded up fancy, I do try to make sure there is no cat hair on them. I just feel like that's a good thing to do, you know? I don't know where my Rolly guy went, though. He was here. There he is. Rolly guy. Let's see. Okay. Not too much going on. In other news, while I roll all of this cat hair from my very helpful assistant off of these pants, what did I do? Oh, when I did my, whatever, I did something where I put earrings into my ears. I think because I left the house, I don't remember. And, you know, I don't wear earrings much anymore, apparently, because I had a really hard time getting that sucker in. So I went on Etsy and finally ordered some little hoops, right? They're very tiny. They're kind of weighty, considering how small they are, like in a good way. But I just wanted something small that I could leave in all the time and sleep in with no problem. I used to have really cute ones and lost one of them along the way. And I really don't want to have to stab sewing needles into my earring holes the next time I want to wear earrings. So put these in. It's funny because the other day when I don't know where my garbage can is, so this is going on the floor. The other day when I was putting the earrings in, this ear, no problem. This ear had to literally use a sewing needle to like get the hole opened enough. I didn't have to pierce through skin, but it had closed almost so completely that I couldn't get the earring through, but it let the needle through. So that was super fun times. Anyway, today when I received these and I went to put this one in, remember this was no problem last time, didn't want to go in. I was like, are you kidding me? And I've been noticing this issue for like, you know, whatever, a few months at least. And this ear has never been a problem until now, so I'm really glad I got this going on. Like, keep those under control. I do not want to have to re-pierce anything if I can avoid it. So, not that I have much else pierced. Not much else. I did do the navel piercing thing back in the day, and honestly, I would still rock it. But it really, for me, is very dependent on what my abdomen is doing, because, you know, I'm sure this is not just me. I'm sure this is anybody with like a navel ring, but like if I have enough, you know, jiggliness going on here and I sit down and it like squashes it all up, it's not comfortable. So I tend to not wear them when that's happening. Also, I don't know, like, no, not many people see my belly button these days anyway, so it's fine. But, you know, if I was all like toned and comfortable again, I would not have a problem wearing it. These don't all want to fit in the bag I'm trying to put them in. I know they will. It will happen. I'm gonna have to manhandle it a little bit and then straighten it out once I get them in there. Okay, this is not looking pretty, but we're gonna fix it. Right? It's looking very stuffed sausage, but we're gonna make it nice. Trick is to get it in there. Okay. Maybe we're gonna get it nice. I'm gonna do my best. Let's see. See if I can flatten this back out again and make it look presentable. Because this is not pretty. It's just because the skirt is so voluminous and it's very thin fabric, but there's a lot of it. I'm not loving this. Hold on, let's see. And I don't usually have to work this hard for this. I think I'm gonna go with it. Not great, but it's okay. And then that side just, it is what it is. So, but you know, she spent, let's see, $32 for 3 items, so she's getting a deal. I think she will forgive me a little bit of wrinkliness. All right. There we go. Not perfect, but it's all right. Gets the job done. Hiding those back here. God bless any of you watching this, seriously, because, all right, let's see. This customer bought 2 pieces from me. They have bought from me in the past. So they got this one. They spent a total of 20 bucks. So I think they were 10 bucks each. I don't think it was 15 and 5. Let's see. Yeah, 10 each. So this very pretty nightgown, which I love. I'm gonna fold this neatly. Get my rolly guy out of the way. My coffee that I've barely touched and yet is going to be too lukewarm for me to finish. I know it's coming. All right, let's see. Fold you up neatly. Neat. No, that's not working. All right, let's see. And the skirts are all way more voluminous than the tops. Trying to get it all folded in there. There we go. That'll work. Okay, here we go. I'm getting so many whatnot notifications. I'm telling you, they are brutal with these notifications, man. Yay. That's number 1. Item number 2 that she purchased, number 18, is this skirt, slip. It was black and I bleached it, and look at the way that came out. It's so cool, right? So I'm really excited about that. I love doing that. It doesn't always work. I did have one that I tried it on. It was black with like some kind of black embroidery, and I bleached it all out and it looked like I did nothing. But when it works, it looks so much fun. It looks so fun. All right, let's get these put together. It's 2 o'clock. Okay, my post office closes at 4, so I'm trying to make sure that I am on time to get things to the post office. Come here, please. There we go. What I like about these poly mailers that I use, I used to use these poly mailers that were clear on one side and gray on the back, but these are clear on both sides. So I like it because then I can make it look like pretty on both sides of the package. It's fun. Or annoying, but I like it. Oh, now you're seeing my mismatched outfit, sorry. I was wearing something else and I put this top on. I'm like, they won't see the bottom half of me. It's fine. Thank God I at least have pants on. That would have been weird. Okay. So it doesn't match, but that's all right. Mostly you get to stare at this. Look how cute it is. I love it so much. All right. What do we do next? Next is, this was nice. So these are some of the pre-bid items that was a little bit weird. Not weird. This skirt, which has been in multiple Whatnot shows at this point, and I was not sure it was going to sell, like ever. And, well, sorry. Oh my God. It still had the, my original price sticker in there, so I just chewed that out. Anyway, cute little skirt. And what was this, 10? Yeah, this was 10. And then she bought a robe also, and I think the robe was, yeah, the robe was 12. So we'll get to that in a moment. I'm gonna fold up this skirt though. Skirt is a little, it's pleated, but it's also like polyester, so it's, pleated skirts can be weird to fold, but thankfully this one is polyester, so you could literally like roll it up into a ball and throw it on your floor, and it's pretty much not going to lose its pleating. So I still want to fold it nicely though. Okay, there's one. Yeah, so she had put pre-bids on this. I almost didn't even run this because I've run it in so many shows that I was like, never mind. And I happened to be just scrolled down far enough that I could see that there was a pre-bid on it. And then there's this robe, which I put in for 12. So it's really cute. I put it in for 12. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It was, I paid enough that I probably paid like $5 or something. I didn't want to put it in at 10 because after fees, it just was not going to be worth it. So I bumped it up to 12, I think. I mean, I honestly feel like even on Whatnot, like $20 could have been a reasonable thing for this robe. It's really cute. This was the either second or third show that this robe has been in. But you know, that's the thing with Whatnot too, is that you're doing these shows, but it's not always about your item price or your item quality or whatever. Like for a lot of today's show, I had fewer than 10 people in there. So it's not only finding somebody who wants this particular item enough to pay for it, but also who happens to be the size of this item. You know, there are definitely a lot of resellers on there. Which, you know, for me, I don't care, you know, whatever, I don't care what you're, I mean, I hope you don't like buy it and like set it on fire, but you know, I don't care if you're reselling it, you're making money, good. It's a fun platform for me. This doesn't want to fold neatly. I don't like it. Okay, hold on. Why is it not working out the way I want it to? Okay, we're just gonna ignore it. We're gonna ignore it. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna pretend that that's doing exactly what I want, even though it is so clearly not, because we're gonna cover that up. We're gonna cover it up with a skirt. No one's gonna see it, I think. Okay, we'll see. Let's see what happens. This all tucked away. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Now this I need my bigger poly mailer for. Let me see how this looks. Janky. Okay, fix it. There. Good enough. That. Put the skirt over here. There. I have to go get the bigger poly bag, which is just right here. And thankfully this is the only one I will need larger today because I don't know where the rest of them are. I have other ones that are larger, but they're like big, big. And I don't think I need anything that big today. So, let's see. I don't even know what I'm saying now. I feel like all of these things that I'm telling you about Whatnot, if you've watched my other videos, I've said in probably every single other video. Sorry. But I know that I go on YouTube and I watch people who are saying literally nothing. They are babbling about nothing, and I watch it, and we'll watch them again and again, and I just like having something on in the background to keep me company or whatever. So if you're like me, then these videos are for you. If you don't care about getting any valuable information or hearing anything that you have not heard 700 times before, then this is the channel for you. If you want to feel like, hey, I also don't match my pants to the rest of my outfit, or even wear pants while I'm working half the time, this is the place for you. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Does not want to fold up neatly for me. Hold on. Got it. Okay. Side one. You've got some sun glare, but you got it. And then side two. Yeah, that looks a little janky actually. It got all twisted. It's kind of, I can't fix it now. I mean, I could, but I'd have to rip it back open, and I don't want to do that. So there she is. That's that. Don't fall, please. It's, fingers crossed, it's not going to fall. Let's see, what's next? Our next buyer purchased 3 items from me. This is also a first-time buyer for me, which is great. So she got this cute little Asian style pajama top, which I love. I had this in last week's show, and it had some watermarks on it. When I got it, it seemed like a new old stock piece, like it was super crispy, out of the bag kind of thing. But it had a couple of little spots, right? Very tiny. I tried to hand wash it because I was trying to A, rush to get it in the next day's show, and B, not like destroy the new old stock appearance of the item. What happened was that I mostly got the spots out, but also the water like ran down the top, like the fabric of the shirt, and then made a water stain on the front. So I had it in last week's show, but it had the water stain on it. So I sent it out. We had laundry done. I sent it out with the laundry, and it came back perfect, so that's good. That was the one that started at 10 and was bid up to 11, so extra $1 win. She also got this skirt. Why am I mixing up my slips and skirts today? Got this. It's a little Y2K thing. It's been in multiple shows at this point, which is cool. When they've been in multiple shows, you know, mostly they're just still included in the shows because I haven't gotten around to listing them elsewhere yet. And this is always like a nice reminder to me that that's okay. Like, you know, it can be sitting on Whatnot for a month and finally sell. And that sold for also $10. And then the third thing she got is another piece that I've had in multiple shows. It's such a, like a mind fuck kind of, because I get these items, and there are definitely some times where I pick things up that I would not pick up if I was only selling on Etsy or eBay. But I pick them up because I need the bulk inventory for Whatnot. And, you know, and they're still like cute. They're my aesthetic. I like them. But like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes it's just not my normal aesthetic. Sometimes I feel like it's not worth my time for Etsy or something. But I know that all of my pieces are good. I don't pick up things that I legitimately don't like or don't feel are worthwhile. But when you have them in a Whatnot show, and especially when I have, well, when I do, I don't know about everybody else, and especially when I have them in like 2 and 3 Whatnot shows and they haven't sold, I really start like questioning, you know, my taste and my skill and all, I start questioning all of it, just all of it. And, you know, I recognize that a lot of that is just me, but this is going to need to be folded another time, I think. But, you know, it's rough, man. It's like, I really wonder, like, what the hell am I doing? Do I even have taste? Everything I sell just trash. But, this person was brand new to me, and she was a new buyer. I mean, I suppose it's always possible that she's watched 75 of my shows and just never purchased anything. But, she was a new buyer for me, and she purchased 2 things that I've had sitting in there for a little bit. So, I have to have a lot of conversations with myself when I do some of these Whatnot shows. Because what I understand logically versus what goes through my head they're very different things. I convince myself that if all of the items I'm running are not brand new to Whatnot, that all my buyers are going to be disillusioned and stop coming back, which after the past 2 weeks, maybe that's true. I don't know. I tell myself a whole lot of stories, and they are generally probably not true. All right, this is the last item, also going to a customer that was new to me. These are like just hippie style kind of, like, I think that they're like, like Grateful Dead kind of hippie style pants. I don't know that they're actually vintage. They might be like 90s, 2000s, but they definitely fit the vibe. They were just cool pants. I liked them. This is one of those things that I probably would not have picked up if I wasn't doing Whatnot, but I think that they're cute. They're fun-filled pieces for me. And ultimately, because I already have them, if it didn't sell on Whatnot, I would eventually list these somewhere else. I just probably would not have picked them up specifically for Etsy or eBay. But they sold, I think I don't know if they were, they sold for 10. So that was everything for my sale today. As you can see, it's not a lot. I was not making buckets of money, but generally I have fun doing Whatnot. And frequently I financially do okay. This past 2 weeks has been a little bit rough. Last week, I think I said this already, I started my show 20 minutes late. Yeah, I was all that. Just like part of me thinks that that's why my shows didn't do well, but I don't know if that's true. It could just be like that's how it goes. Sometimes you could be listing on eBay every single day and you'll go 2 weeks with no sales. Okay. I will. I know other people who do. So sometimes it just sucks, but the Whatnot is one of the few places where I've been super consistent, and besides the fact that it's fun for me, it also keeps my Etsy, eBay, etc., all that inventory sort of coming in, and it pays for that inventory, so that's nice too. Anyway, I'm gonna go and make some labels for these so that I can get them to the post office. I appreciate you watching my shows. I hope that you enjoy them. Maybe you don't find them informative, I don't know, but I hope you at least find them somewhat entertaining, something to keep on to yabber in your ear while you're doing other work. I don't know. Thanks for watching. I hope you come back.